Hello, everyone. Well, that was certainly interesting. Happy Friday and welcome. It's Melanie from Mel's Inky Fingers. It's so nice to be with you today. Another week has passed, and I feel like every week they just go faster and faster. And then I wake up and it's Friday again already. So I hope everyone had an amazing week. It looks like I'm in the right spot and I am not sideways. Everything looked great, and then all of a sudden I went live and my video pulled up sideways. So I jumped off. So you may have seen me briefly live. But anyway, today, look at these adorable projects that I have to share with you today. This is from the A Child is Born stamp set. This is from our mini catalog. It's such a peaceful set. I couldn't wait to create with it. So we're going to create a really simple card and then a card that is not hard, but it just has a few more steps, and have some fun creating today. So I'm going to give everyone a couple of minutes to find me because now I'm late since I was having technical difficulties, and then we're going to get started. So I'm glad you're here. When you jump on, say hello and let me know you're here, so that I know who I get to create with today. It's always fun to have friends join me on Friday. I have some really fun things to show you today as well. So, hello, if you're here joining, I hope you let me know who's here. So this stamp set, let me show it to you. It does not have coordinating dies, but it's easy enough to work with to die cut. So it is here on page 16 of our mini catalog. So let me share that with you. Here you can see what may catch your eye is this really pretty large font sentiment. That's an individual stamp set. And then down below is this really pretty set. I thought that was really cute. I like that a lot. So this is what we're going to create with today. So I added a little bit of texture with some embossing on this one. And then this one is a really easy way to create a lot of interest to a card. And it doesn't take that long to color. So I'm going to show you some tips on that. So that's what we're going to make today. So hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. When you jump on, say hello so I know who I get to spend some time with today. All right, so let's do our announcements. So just a reminder to follow me over on YouTube so you don't miss anything that I share with you here. Time is running out for this absolutely incredible offer to join the Stampin' Up! Community for only $35. I mean, this is just a crazy, amazing offer that has no strings attached, and it doesn't make any sense to not join the fun and be a part of this creative, like-minded group that we have. So the starter kit special that Stampin' Up! Is offering this month is the normal starter kit. There's actually two options. There's the normal starter kit, which includes $125 of any product you would like, a paper pumpkin kit, some catalogs and other supplies. And that's only $35. Yes, $35. I mean, it's bananas. And that gives you the opportunity to shop with a discount anytime you would like for a minimum of 6 months, 7 actually. It allows you access to all kinds of creative inspiration that is shared, demonstrator groups, you're part of my team. You have access to tutorials that I share, making new friends, just a lot of fun. The second offer is a $99 kit, which is what the kit usually is, but you get to choose $189 in product. So you can choose which one is right for you. I think the better deal is the $35 kit because then you can now shop as a demonstrator and you get your demonstrator discount on the rest of anything that you would like. But it's really up to you depending on what you would like to get free. So if you have questions, let me know. I hope you join us. Stampin' Up! Still has the 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar available. I've been sharing little peeks of this along the way with spoiler alert, so I don't spoil it for anyone who does not want to see what's in it. This is a box. I've shared it with you. It looks like this. It's absolutely adorable. It does not contain holiday product in here. This is all occasion product that is packaged in here, so you don't have to worry about getting it and opening it to create before the holiday season, although you certainly could. It comes with a double stamp set, so you get a stamp set of sentiments and a stamp set of images that coordinate with the products in here. I've been opening up one window a week at the end of our lives so that I don't spoil it for anyone who would like to share creative time with me. And I will certainly tell you to look away before I share anything. I don't want to spoil anything that you don't want spoiled. Last week's live, I created with the 3 products that we have seen so far from opening up the windows. And I will share those cards at the end so I don't spoil it for any of you who don't want to see. And we'll open up a 4th item today and see what's in there. And then I'll do some creating again in a couple weeks. Now, anyone who orders this in my online store, I'm going to gift you a class in January, and we'll get together and create some cute projects using the products that are in your advent calendar. So I hope you like that idea and maybe give it a try. It also makes an incredible gift, and yes, you can add this to your starter kit if you decide to join the Stampin' Up! Community, which makes it just a really amazing offer. All right, so I only have about 4 kits left for the Christmas Craft a Stack that I'm offering. So this is a kit that is designed for you to do at home to make 10 adorable projects. You'll make 2 each of these cute cards. 2 of them are gift card holders in case you want to gift. And then you will have this adorable tag holder and a set of 6 tags, and you will make all of these. You'll make 2 sets of the tags, 2 bags, and 10 cards. The paper is not going to be available till the end of November, so I'm limited to what I have already planned to have. So this kit is $65 and includes your shipping. You get ribbon, embellishments, a full pack of paper, card bases, envelopes, everything you need. And the best part, these are non-stamping projects. So you will not do any stamping on these. You will just do a little bit of ink blending in a couple places if you want to add some color, and you can even choose not to do that if you don't want to. Making these really quick and fun to put together. So if you would like one of those, I have registration here on my site, and I don't have many left. And then when they're gone, they're gone. The next Creatively Inked is now open for registration. We are going to be using the Peace on Earth bundle. I love this bundle. It's not Christmas. It is just general, could be winter, great sympathy cards, thinking of you. You could even use some of these for Valentine's Day. I really like the fonts, really pretty, and the dies are beautiful. You've got a couple of really great label dies, little envelopes. You've got these cute doves and some foliage. So a lot of versatility here. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of what we're making. Ooh, look at that. I'm not going to show you the inside. And this card is just gorgeous. And look at our non-card project this month. So stinking cute. So a little sneak peek of what's coming. So if you like this bundle or the projects, I would recommend subscribing to Creatively Inked, because as we get further into the holiday season, I don't know how long products are going to be available. And so I had to cut off registration for the November kit because I couldn't get all the supplies. So I can't guarantee it won't happen again for the next upcoming kit. So really pretty and fun projects. All right. So are you ready to get started? Let's make some projects. So oh wait, and oh my gosh, like super big news. Look, free shipping. It ends today. Stampin' Up! Is offering free shipping on all orders of at least $75 right now. And today is the last day for that. So if you need envelopes, adhesives, cardstock, any of your basics, maybe a new trimmer, now's a great time to replace your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, which is what I need to be doing. I have worn mine out. If you want to treat yourself to a holiday bundle or anything, it's free shipping is always an amazing time to do that. Now, if you join my Stampin' Up! Community as a demonstrator, you not only get a discount on all your shopping, but you too can get free shipping on your order. So if you have a lot of things that you'd like to stock up on, I suggest joining with that amazing starter kit deal. You will immediately get a demonstrator number, so you can then jump in and place an order as a demonstrator to get free shipping on anything else that you would like. So take advantage of that as long as you can. All right. Okay. So now let's make a couple projects. So this is what we're going to make today. Beautiful cards. I love this stamp set called A Child is Born. It's really pretty. I love the little fonts that are in there and the cute little sentiments. Now, I didn't use these adorable animals, but you could definitely step this up, and maybe I'll do so by adding a couple little animals, or even the little manger right here, and you could fussy cut it and layer it on top for some texture. That would be really cute. This is a really fast and easy Christmas card. If you would like to send handmade cards this year, this is really easy, and you'll see how quick this card comes together when we make it. And then I kept the inside really simple. I just stamped a sentiment on a white layer on the inside to match the white embossing powder that I used on the front. Now I'm going to make a little variation of this together with you today. I'm going to change the white embossing powder to gold so that you can see what it looks like with a metallic embossing, heat embossing design on the front. And then I use this really amazing black and white and gold linen, baker's twine. It's not linen thread. And so I will use the black on the second card, and I use the white on this card. So let's make this card together. So, hi Nicole, welcome. I'm glad you're here. It's nice to see you. Okay, so I know you'll be shocked when I tell you I chose Secret C for my card base because I wanted a lot of contrast. It would be gorgeous in red. It would be gorgeous in green. It would even be absolutely beautiful on white. Then I have two pieces that are cut 3 3/4 by 5. One is in basic white. One is in Secret C. This will be our inside layer. And then I have a layer that I embossed, and I chose to emboss a piece that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So this is a full card front. I wanted to add texture to the whole front of the card. Now you could choose if you wanted to trim this down a little bit so you have some white, not white, so that you have some flat, plain, unembossed cardstock behind it if you wanted to. But I thought this was pretty to have that texture popping out behind this layer that we're going to use to do our heat embossing on. So we have both embossing from pressure using our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I chose the dotted circles embossing folder, but you could use just about anything, would look gorgeous. There is an embossing folder that I wish I would have ordered that I need to place on my next order. I've put 2 orders in when free shipping started the other morning, and I forgot to put it on both orders. I just put the orders in quickly back to back. So this one is called the Christmas Words Collage. Let me show it to you. It's amazing. It has all these Christmas words. That would look incredible behind it. Can you see that? How pretty that is? Now this happens to come with a matching die that you can drop in. This is one of the specialty hybrid embossing folders where you put your cardstock in with the die and you pass it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and it not only embosses, but it die cuts the words, and then you have all these really cool words. Isn't that neat? I keep forgetting to add that to my order. So let's make our card. So we are going to start by simply adhering this in place to our card base. So I'm going to put some Stampin' Seal on here. And I'm going to put this down directly to my card base. So I'm not going to add dimensionals, and I just want to make sure this is lined up. So I'm just going to kind of do this. Okay, that's an easy way to line it up, to just kind of put it down like that. So now it's perfectly lined up on the front. So now this is the panel that we're going to heat emboss, and then we're going to put that on with some Stampin' Dimensionals, and we're just going to keep it really simple. This will go on the inside of our card. So let's put that there now. We're going to just stamp our inside sentiment on it, but we can do that after we do our embossing. And I'm going to stamp it in Secret C to match the front, although you could also do heat embossing in gold on that if you wanted to. I'm just going to keep it kind of fast so that we don't run out of time. All right, so now we're going to bring in all of our embossing tools. So let me share with you the Embossing Editions kit. I think it's essential when you're doing heat embossing, and this is what comes in your kit. You get your tray to catch all your powder. You get this really cool tool to hang on to your cardstock so that you don't burn your fingers with your heat tool, and then this embossing buddy. And this embossing buddy I use for so much more than just embossing. I use it to put on adhesive if it's sticky and I don't want it sticky. I'll rub that on there. I also sometimes put it on the back of stickers or ephemera that have stickers on it if I want to use dimensionals to raise it and don't want the sticky to stick down on my card front. So I use this a lot. But this is a dark color, and we're going to be using gold on here. So I want to make sure I get this everywhere on this layer. This embossing buddy is going to prevent your embossing powder from sticking where you don't have ink. And I'm going to use my Versamark for this. I'm going to bring in my gold embossing powder, my little spoon here that I keep attached to the top of my little things. So I have this all ready. So now I'm going to take the main image stamp that is in this stamp set, and then I'm going to follow it up with my word, and this says, "Oh Holy Night." I'm just going to put that underneath it. So let's ink this up. I think I need a little bit more ink on my, and I'm going to just make sure this is centered, and I want to leave some space on the bottom. So we'll make sure that this is stamped really well. And then I'm going to take my sentiment, my "Oh Holy Night" sentiment, and center it, and I'm going to leave just enough space in there to tie my twine and not have it cover up my words. So I always cover my Versamark pad and get it out of the way so I don't wind up with embossing powder on it. And now I'm just going to put my embossing powder on here. I want to make sure that I get that design really, really well. And it doesn't look shiny and bright yet, but as you heat it, you're going to find that the color of your embossing powder is going to change, and it becomes really, really pretty. All right, so the one thing I didn't show you, you also get a brush with your Embossing Editions kit, which I think it has found its way into my stamp room, unfortunately, so I don't have a way to brush off excess powder. But what I do is, like, see this powder down here? I would take the brush that comes with it and brush this away. You want to get any stray powder off your project before you heat it, because as soon as you heat it, it's going to melt, and then it will be a permanent part of your paper. Now, I will blow on this really hard and get loose powder off, so I'm going to step away for a minute here. Don't be afraid to blow hard on that and get any loose stray pieces off. And then we can come in with our heat tool and heat this. And this will be a little loud, so I won't talk while I'm using my heat tool, but it's going to make this powder become nice and shiny and bright so that it looks beautiful. So I'm just going to preheat this. I like to let the heat tool warm up before I put it on my paper. It does help limit any warping to your cardstock. So I think this is probably getting warm enough now. So you will see this turn nice and shiny and bright once it gets warm enough. Maybe I can do it from the bottom so you can see better. So you can see it's starting to change, and I don't know how well the camera's picking that up. So it's a little easier with the metallics to see if you have it all heated, because there's a pretty significant color change when you've adequately heated your powder. The white and the clear, it can be a little harder to tell. So you want to make sure you get all this. All right, I think I'm happy with that. So this is really pretty. You can see how it has become just so shiny. So now let's bring in our card base. So here's our card base. You can see how pretty that is. So before we put that together, let's take our twine. You can see how easy this card is. And I'm going to take the white and gold, and I'm going to wrap it right through this section here between my image and the, this is a little long, between the image and the sentiment that I stamped on there. I'm going to wrap this around and tie it here in a bow. Now you can choose to put the bow in the center or offset to one side or the other. It's up to you. So this twine is a little slippery, so when you tie your bow, you want to make sure that you pull nice and tight, and then it will stay in place. You can also put a tiny little glue dot underneath it if you want, and that will also help keep it from coming loose. So if you're finding that when you tie your bows that they're coming loose, once you have it where you want it, you could put a tiny little piece of glue dot. So let me show you what I would do if I needed to do that. I would take a glue dot and I would cut it in half, because that knot on your twine is not very big. You don't want this to stick out and get stuck on the inside of your envelope. So I would then fold that half in half, and then just take it and tuck it right underneath the knot. And now that'll hold that in place, and you don't have to worry about it fraying. All right, so now let's take some dimensionals, and I'm going to put this on my card front. So we'll put, I think 5 is enough. And we're going to put this on our card front, and then we're almost done. So let's center this. Now you have that really pretty embossed texture popping out from behind. Isn't that beautiful? I think this is so pretty. And then we're going to bling it up just a tiny little bit by adding, we have these gold shaker stars. So these are really easy to use. Either use your fine tip glue pen or some of your Tombow. I squeeze a tiny bit to the front, and then I just dot, 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 and then you can do a dot and a dot. And then I take this tip here, and I just come in and get my stars and drop them in the glue. Really easy. And there's 3 different size stars, so you can kind of just move them around a tiny little bit until you get the size you want. And that's another big one. I can maybe put that one up there. And they also have these cute, really cute little outline stars. So you have solid ones and outline, which I really, really like. It's a great little set. All right, so there's our card front. Now let's go to the inside. All right, now I have some Secret Sea ink, and we'll pull a sentiment. Let's see, this says, "Oh Holy Night." And I have, "When they saw the star, they rejoiced." So you could, again, do this in gold heat embossing, or you could just stamp to match the color of your card base. I almost always will stamp my inside sentiment the same color as the card front, but when I heat emboss, sometimes I mix that up a little bit. And what I love about these stars is they're so flat that you can bring beautiful embellishments to the inside of your card. And here we go. Isn't that beautiful? What do you think? So simple, yet so easy and pretty. So here it is in white, and I used the snowflake embellishments from the mini catalog on this one that are more silver to go with the white. And this one is heat embossed with gold, and then I used those gold shaker stars for the embellishments. So these are called these must be an online exclusive. I could swore they were part of the I really thought they were in the mini catalog. So these are online exclusives. So what do you think? Do you like it in white or do you like it in gold? It would also be beautiful in silver. Isn't that a fun one? Whoops, I just dropped an ink pad. I'll give you a moment to... I'm just going to get my embossing supplies for the next project. All right. Hi, Christine. It's nice to have you here. Oh, I'm glad you like this. Do you like the white or do you like the gold? Hopefully you can see that. I know the light doesn't always hit that metallic. All right. So I'm going to set that aside. And now we're going to jump into project 2. So project 2, I've got like a huge mess here. Let me kind of clean up just a little bit here. So here's project 2. Project 2 is again simple, but it has this window pane effect, which is really easy and fun to do. And I put a dark background behind it so that it helps the images pop a little bit. So this is what I used in the background. I used this modern Christmas specialty paper and I used this black with stars. Isn't that pretty? And then I carried the gold stars through with the gold shaker stars that I just used on the first card. But I'm going to remake this and use just black cardstock. So Christine says both are beautiful, but she can see the white better. Yes. Yes, it's in real life, you can see the gold well. I think it's just the way the light is hitting. Let me see if I can change my... Hopefully that helps. You can see that. Look how beautiful those gold stars are. Isn't that pretty? Yes, the white definitely on camera looks so much clearer, doesn't it? I agree with you, Christine. Okay, so let me show you how I did this one. All right, so to create this project, you are going to need a thick basic white card base. I have embossing powder all over here. You'll need a thick basic white card base. This is cut 4 1/4 by 11 and I've scored it at 5 1/2. I'm going to burnish that well with my bone folder. Then I have a piece of basic black, and this is going to be my backing layer. So if you would like to use the designer series paper from the Modern Christmas collection like I used here, you would cut it to the same size, and this is 4 inches by 5 and or 4.5, sorry, 4 by 4.5. I had trimmed this down. 4 by 4.5. Then you're going to want a piece of basic white, and I'm using thick basic white, and this is 3 3/4 by 4 1/4, and that's going to layer on top like that. Then you will want a piece of basic white to stamp your front sentiment. You'll fussy cut that. And then I took a piece of the Modern Christmas Designer Series paper that has these little gold stars. I'm going to put that on the inside of my project. So here's how the inside looks. All is calm, all is bright. So this is the same designer series paper that I used on this one, but I liked it on the inside, even though I'm going to give you an alternative with all black. Then you're going to want some black embossing powder because I'm going to heat emboss this image before I color it. So you'll want your Versamark ink, and then you can either choose to black heat emboss your sentiments or use your Memento black. And then I have some inks for coloring the image, and you can use whatever colors you want. This is what I used. So I used Early Espresso for the hair, Petal Pink for the skin. I used Basic Beige for the robes, except Baby's blanket was in Cloud Cover. And then I used some Smoky Slate along the bottom to give some shadowing so they didn't look like they were floating. All right, so let's get started first by doing our heat embossing and coloring. So I'm going to set these layers aside for now, and I'm going to get my heat embossing supplies out. So we're going to want our Versamark ink, and we're going to use our black embossing powder. So the embossing powder, our WOW embossing powder is really awesome. And it comes in 2 different sets. One is metallics and one is black, white, and clear called basics. So this is from the basics. The first card is from the metallics. And then we have our embossing buddy. And again, I'm using black embossing powder on basic white cardstock. So I want to make sure that I use this and I emboss this really well so that I don't have any black embossing powder straggling powder flecks. Okay. I have to find my big stamp. Oh, here it is. It's over here on my Stamp and Chamois. Okay. I could use a little more, my Versamark pad's getting a little bit dry. So I'm going to center this. And then give this ink a minute to transfer. Let's get that out of the way. So I made the mistake one time of leaving my heat embossing powder open, and then I had my Versamark pad and I blew the excess powder off my image, and it blew all my powder everywhere, and my Versamark pad was just completely covered with, and I think it was gold embossing powder. It was a little bit of a mess, so I learned my lesson. All right, so see how that powder just sticks to the ink and then falls off when you use that embossing buddy? It really does make a difference. All right, so I think I have most of the excess off. So let me cover my powder, and then I'm going to blow the excess powder off. All right. Now, if you have your little brush, mine is in my at my main crafting space. All right, I'm gonna blow my powder away and let my heat tool warm up, and then we'll get this embossed. The coloring is not fancy, so I kept the coloring on this really simple by using a water painter, and I'll show you how I like to pick up ink with my water painters. So as you're heating your powder and it starts to melt, if you hold your heat tool to the powder just another second or two, you'll notice that it starts to smooth out and it's not quite as bumpy. So I always make sure I give the heat enough time to work on the powder to make your image nice and smooth. All right, so I think we have all this. So there's our image. Isn't that pretty? I think it's so pretty. All right, so now we're going to pull in all of our lovely ink colors and get ready to do some I have a little cup of water. And I have 2 of my water painters. Now, you can choose to put water in your water painter if you want. I prefer to use my water separate because I feel like I have more control over how much water is in my brush when I do that. So let me show you what I do. I use a block. And I'm going to start from the top down. So I have my early espresso, and I'm going to take my block and put it right in my ink and pick up my color. Now I have the ability to take my brush and I put it down in my, I'm just making sure this is clean because I have some red on there that clearly I didn't clean off. So now I have water in my bristles and I can pick up the amount of ink that I want, and I can kind of see how wet my block is and how diluted my color is, so that I can make some areas lighter than others. And as I start painting, if I want it lighter, I can pick up just a little bit of water. And I am not using watercolor painter. Watercolor paper, sorry. Yes, this is a water painter. I'm using just thick, basic white cardstock. All right. Now, I want to get this shoe, and I want that shoe to be darker. So I'm going to come over here and have less dilute color, and then I can fill in that little section there. All right. So now I'm going to do hair over here, and I want this to be a lighter brown. So I picked up a little more water, and I'm just going to add this in. If you want this to flow a little bit, get a little more water on your brush, and that water will flow a little better. And I'm not coloring to perfection, all right? So I think I have everything. So now I will just rinse this out, and I'm going to move on to the next color, which is going to be, I'm just rinsing this, okay? So I'm going to use Petal Pink next to do the skin. So this is a really nice skin tone. So what I do is I just take my Stampin' Chamois and I just wipe my block off. And now I have a nice clean surface. The other thing, if you are working on a glass mat studio like I am here, you can just put your ink right down on your glass mat and work off the mat as well, and then you don't need a block. Now, you can get this glass mat studio right now as part of the starter kit offer, which is incredible. So this Glass Mat Studio is usually $60, and it comes with this mat, and it comes with a cleaning cloth for your mat, and it comes with this silicone tray, which is what I keep my water in. This is where I had my water, okay? And you can add that to your starter kit and still have like $65 to shop with. I mean, it's just bananas. All right, so I have colored my skin, and you can see I still have some little white spots in there. I don't want this to be perfection. I want it to be just kind of a rough, and then I just wipe and it's gone. It's just that easy. So now let's move into the robes. All right, so now I have some basic beige. I'm going to put some color down on my glass mat, and I'm going to switch to a little wider water painter, and I'm going to pick up water, and I want this to be pretty wet because I just want this to be a light color. Okay, and I want this color to kind of run, so I'm going to kind of move quickly on this section so that I get a little movement of my color before it soaks into the paper. Now, if you're working with watercolor paper, you will have a lot more time to work your color before it soaks in, and it is meant to work that way, so it's a little more forgiving. But I didn't want watercolor paper, so I'm just adding my color, letting it soak into the paper. You can see how easy this is, working off the glass mat. Okay, so now let's see. That's the blanket. Just making sure that I have all my lines. I got some on the baby's blanket, but that's okay because that's going to go away. Okay. So I will rinse my water painter and switch my color. So you can see how fast this goes. It really doesn't take that long. So now I'm going to use Cloud Cover for baby's blanket. Pick up a little bit of water, mix it in my color, and now I can color the blanket. So I missed a little spot here of Mama's arm. So I will go back in and pick up some, I'll get a little bit of water on here and then just pick it up right off the pad. And then you can just dab that in there. Okay. And then last but not least, I'm going to add the gray across the bottom so that it doesn't look like they're floating. And that will kind of ground this image so that by casting some shadow, let me get our Cloud Cover ink off here so I don't wind up, although it would blend pretty well. So there's our smoky slate. Do you have this glass mat? Do any of you watching today, do you have a glass mat? Tell me if you like it. Hi, Bonnie. It's nice to have you here. All right. So I'm going to pick up this smoky slate, and then I'm just going to start and you don't want to overblend. Just keep it really simple. I think I want a little bit more here. Yeah, there we go. So I'm happy with that. So that's all I've done to color this. I've kept it really simple, and that'll be really pretty. I'll give it just a moment to dry while I start working on other elements. So let me set this aside. So now let's pull out our main card base. So I'm going to work on the inside just a little bit here. So I have this piece of designer series paper from the Modern Christmas collection, and we're going to just kind of tuck that in here. And this is 4 inches long by half an inch thick. It's a great way to use up little scraps. And then I have the all is calm, all is bright sentiment. So let's get that stamped on the inside while our front dries. Let me make this is crooked. Let me make sure it's straight. And you could do black heat embossing, or you could just use your Memento ink pad. It's up to you. And I'm going to center this. So really easy. Oh, and then while I'm at it, let's stamp this front one too. So again, you could choose heat embossing or stamping. Whoops, that didn't turn out so good. There we go. I only pushed half the stamp down. Good thing there's two sides to every piece of paper. All right, so let's do a little fussy cutting and get this sentiment cut out. So this doesn't have to be, you don't have to spend a ton of time fussy cutting this. Notice how I'm moving my sentiment and not my scissors. There we go. If you want to go back and trim it up at all, you certainly can. All right, so now we're going to cut this into our little window pane design. And when we cut it into our window pane design, we can then adhere it to that black cardstock layer, or if you're choosing to use the Modern Christmas Designer Series paper, you could adhere it to that. So whatever you choose to use. So first we're going to cut it in half this way, and this is 4 1/4 inches long. So we're going to cut it at 2 1/8 and just cut it in half. And then we're going to cut each of these halves into 3. So we're going to cut it at about 1 1/4. I'm going to cut the left off first, and then I'm going to go and cut the right off. And then whatever's left in the center is what's left in the center. All right. And then we'll do the same to the bottom. So we'll first cut 1 1/4 off the left edge, and then look at your design and cut 1 1/4 off the right edge. And then whatever is left in the middle is what we have, but it should be, they all should be about 1 1/4. All right. So now I'm going to arrange these so that I have an even amount of space around all the pieces. And then once I do that, I'll start adhering them in place. And I'm going to use liquid glue to adhere them in place. And the reason why I'm going to use liquid glue is because you have a little bit of wiggle room to adjust the position of it before it's stuck in place. Whereas if you use Stamp and Seal, where you put it down is where it's going to be. All right. And then I'm going to do my 4 corners first and then center my 2 middle pieces. I'll be a little generous with my glue to make sure that it doesn't dry on me. And by generous, I don't mean goop it on there, but this is a tiny piece of paper, so it really doesn't need much adhesive to hold it in place. So when I say generous, I'm being relative to the size of the paper. All right. Okay. This one can come down a little bit. All right, so now let's put our center pieces in place. Okay, so there you go. So now we have our beautiful window pane. So it's not hard. It's actually a lot of fun. to color that. And then when you cut it, it makes it look like you're looking through a window at the beautiful, peaceful scene outside. What do you think? So now we're going to bring this in and add it to our card front, and we're almost done with our project. So I'm going to pull in our black and white and gold twine, and I'm going to tie this around the bottom of this beautiful picture. I'm going to do the same thing that I did on the last one. I'm going to wrap it around twice and then tie my bow. And again, you could choose where you wanted the bow. It could be on the left, the right, the center. It's completely up to you. And make sure you pull this twine really tight, because this stuff, it's shiny, so it doesn't hold quite as well as like the Baker's Twine Essential Pack twine. So once you tie that on, then you can place it on the card front. Ooh, it's so pretty. I hope it looks as beautiful on camera as it looks in real life. So if you want to put a little glue dot there, and I think I'm going to help hold these little pieces here, it'll help hold them down like that. So let's get a glue dot. I'm going to fold this in half. And I'm going to put it right under that knot. That will help hold it right where we want it. And now that will help hold those little tails as well. So let's put some dimensionals on this. And we're going to finish it up with some gold stars. And then I'm curious as to which one you like more. That's always fun to hear what you think. All right, so I'm going to set this, I'm going to center it with the same distance on the top and sides, and then you have that little bigger space along the bottom, which I think gives it even more of a window look. Isn't that beautiful? And then I'm going to take this, oh come let us adore him. I'm going to put it kind of right over that knot and kind of center this. Make sure your twine is even, okay? I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back so that it sits nicely over that knot. So let's put a couple baby dimensionals on here, here, and here. Let's see if that sits like that. All right. Oh, look how pretty. It's so pretty. All right, so now here are our gold stars. So this is what we used on our first card as well. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a little tiny bit of glue on the front, and then I'm just going to go tap, 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 tap. And then I can use the putty tip of my Take Your Pick tool, and I can just pick up the stars that I want. So there's 3 different size stars in here. So you can use whichever sizes you want. And if you're not finding the size that you are wanting at the top, just do this. And it will expose a whole nother clump. And you can use the outline stars or the, I have 2 here. Let's put one there. And I want this little tiny baby one right here. And there you go. Now let's come on the inside and add some stars in here too. Because these are so nice and flat. They're perfect for adding inside a project. And I want a teeny baby one right there. That little one. Look how perfect that is. Oh, it's so perfect. I love these stars. All right, so there's our project. What do you think? So we have the modern Christmas paper and we have solid basic black cardstock. So this allows those stars to shine through, but I did the same thing on the inside with the stars on the inside, because even the basic black cardstock one, I carried the gold star theme through. So what do you think? So here's our projects for today. I love this stamp set. And you could even dress this one up a little bit by bringing in some of the little farm animals or the little manger and fussy cut it and add it here for some more dimension. What do you think? So pretty. Tell me which one is your favorite. Do you have a favorite? I'd love to know which one is your favorite. All right, well, don't forget, today is the last day for free shipping. You can grab this stamp set and some gold stars, some supplies to recreate this card if you want, and not pay shipping if your order is at least $75. Don't forget that it's time for a new Creatively Inked kit. If you would like to have the most amazing kit delivered to your door, it's the Peace on Earth bundle this month. And the amazing join offer where you just can't go wrong, right? It's just such an amazing offer. And I would love to welcome you to my Stampin' Up! Community. You do not need to do classes and hold Facebook Lives. You can simply be your own customer and enjoy discounted shopping. It is like the ultimate creative membership, right? So Nicole says she likes the window style and she says, beautiful. Oh, good. So you like this one? Yes. Thanks, Nicole. Thanks. Hey, Brenda. Hi, Brenda. Oh, Brenda is my sweet friend from Canada, and we are getting so excited. We are starting to put our projects together for the cruise, the Fun in the Sun crafting cruise that's going to take place in 2026. Woo! I hope you join us. We are going to have a blast, aren't we, Brenda? Yes. Yes, we are. All right, everyone. Well, thanks so much for jumping on today. It was fun to hang out with you. I hope you have an amazing weekend and a great next week. And I will look forward to seeing you again next Friday. Bye.